Hey, Steve Stine from GuitarZoom here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'd like to introduce you to an app that I use for my Mac, and it's called GuitarLayers. Now, if you're like me, you teach and you learn, right? That's what we do as guitar players. So what I've always been looking for is an app that I can use to create scales or chords or arpeggios in a number of different ways across the fretboard. Maybe it's a position or a couple of different positions connected together, the entire fretboard, whatever it might be. And I've used a lot of different apps out there, and I'm sure you'll be letting me know some of the stuff that you use as well. But as a guitar player that also wants to learn, I don't just want to create shapes to try and show somebody, but sometimes I actually want to study things as well to better see how various ideas or concepts overlap. And this product, GuitarLayers, is far more complex than I can show you right now. And as a matter of fact, I'm still learning it myself. But it's really, honestly amazing if you're looking for something that you could use in your classes or in your guitar lessons, but also something that, if you're trying to wrap your brain around arpeggios, or you're trying to wrap your brain around modes, or, melodic minor or whatever it might be, jazz chords, different things like that. And even the most basic things, from pentatonic, which is what I'm going to be using in this example today, to just simple chord structures, to cage system, all these different sorts of things. This app will allow you to do that. So please don't just take my word for it. It's a far better product that I'm going to be able to show you today. But let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what you're looking at now is the layout of GuitarLayers. And basically what you've got here is you've got this top section here, which is the structure. This is where you're going to choose your key, okay? You're also going to choose the scale or chord or arpeggio, depending on what it is that you're looking for. Okay, and you can combine these and overlap them too, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. And then you've got the structure here. So you can choose intervals, you can choose all of these different various scales, and then you can actually add and subtract notes as well. So when you're using this, you're not only able to do, for instance, a pentatonic, and that's all you can do. Let's say you wanted to do a pentatonic scale, but you wanted to add a certain note into it, or you were doing some sort of custom exotic scale or something like that. You can customize this however you want. It really is that intelligent. So let's go ahead and just look at this one. So what I've got here is just an A minor pentatonic, something nice and easy for you to see. So my structure is set up to be A minor pentatonic, okay? And if I come down here to custom shapes and I click on that, if I go to all fretboard, you'll see that it covers my whole fretboard, okay? Right there. And I'll make this a little bit smaller so you can see it, okay? Here we go. There we go. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to this. So we see that zoom is how we can go in and out to make this fit a little bit better on my screen. Position shows you can see how you can change where they are in the fret to make it a little bit easier for you to see, okay? Size, and this is going to be really interesting in just a little bit. You can change the size, and this is really important when you're trying to show two concepts overlapping each other. You could make some of the notes bigger and keep them a certain color, and then make some of the notes smaller and change that color. So if you're trying to visualize them, or you're trying to get a student to visualize two different things at the same time, that's going to work for you. Okay, fade. We can also change that as well, which makes a difference when we're trying to overlap things. Spot just makes it a little bit bigger there, okay? And then label. You see we can take off the labels there, or we can put them back on, okay? So all fretboard, you can see I've got the whole fretboard here. So if I go to vertical shapes, what happens is here we've got spot, okay? Now it's just showing me this one position. Now I'm going to take that off, and it's going to show me the whole fretboard. It's still that same position, but watch this. If I go up to the frets here and I start clicking, I can choose all of these different fret options of the pentatonic. So what it's doing is it's combining various frets together. Now, if you were trying to teach an absolute beginner, for instance, the pentatonic scale, some of these might look a little awkward, like the one that you're looking at right now. We're going to come back to this in just a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to custom shapes, and what you're going to notice is right here are the common shapes that we teach people when they're learning how to play the pentatonic scale. You see that? These are the common shapes that you would learn to use. So that, for instance, would be an A minor pentatonic. That'd be your first position or primary box, for instance, because A is the root right there. And this would be the second position that connects, and this is the third position, and so on. Okay? Well, let's say we didn't want the whole fretboard, and we didn't just want one of these various shapes. What we want to do is we want to show the example of maybe combining two shapes together to try and teach somebody, or maybe we're going to use the idea ourselves. Okay? What I do then is I go to vertical shapes, and I can see, let's say I take my first position right there. I want to combine my first position and my second position. So there we can see it's reaching out just a little bit further, and boom, there's our second position. So what I'm going to do is go to 4, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and then I'm going to click on 6, and it chooses all the positions between 4 and 6, and there I can see, or all the options I should say between 4 and 6, and there I can see it's now connected the first and second positions together, so I can just see those. I could print that out, you know, whatever it might be, email it to a student, whatever, so they can see how these two positions connect together. Or let's say you wanted to do the second position and you wanted the third position, okay, which is going to be that one right there. So now I'm going to go back to position 6, and I'm going to go hold down the Shift key, 6 to 9, and boom, there they are. Or 4 to 9, holding that Shift key. Okay, so that's a really easy way of seeing how this is working using the vertical shapes. So all fretboard is the whole thing. Custom shapes is usually what I have found is just the common shapes that we tend to use. But when we need something a little bit different, and I'll show you that in just a second here, I'm going to kind of screw up what I've got here just to kind of show you. Let's say I wanted to do G major. I'm going to do, where's my G? There it is. I'm going to do G, but my structure is going to be Ionian, okay? And I want the whole fretboard. So there's G major across the whole fretboard, okay? So G, there's my whole thing. So there's my G. Okay, so now, instead of having the full fretboard again, I want custom shapes. Now look at that. What's happening here is, if I look at notes per string, I can select how many notes on each string I want to create various different kinds of shapes across the guitar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to 6 strings. Notice you can change it to 7 strings or 4 strings, right? So you can actually set this up to be a 7-string. If you're a 7-string guitar player, you can customize all of this to be 7-string. If you're a bass player, 4-string, 5-string, 6-string, whatever, you can customize the tuning, you can customize the amount of strings, all those sorts of things within this app. It's just amazing. So I'm going to change all of these to 6 strings. Okay, just to show you. Okay, so now I've got it set for 6 strings. Okay, custom shapes. There we can see all these various different shapes across there, right? Okay. So what I want to do here is, instead of having these subgroups, I'm just going to choose everything. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to go over to my vertical shapes here. So there's my vertical. And this is what I use to create my positions for people to learn. So for instance, when I teach how to play the 3-note per string G major position, what I want you to notice is that this one shows, again, you might be different than me, but when I play this, or when I teach this, I teach G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. But I don't have the D over here. I go right to E and F sharp, and I want the G here. Well, this isn't showing me that, but if I go to the next fret position here of this vertical shape, there it's showing me that. See? Now it's got the position that I'm looking for here. Okay? Now, get this. This is pretty cool. So if I go back here to this one, and I grab these, I could just teach someone how to play just a custom set like that, for instance, of part of that shape, which is just super cool. So what I want to do here is I want to come back to this one, okay, and I'm going to turn off that one. I just want that and that. Okay, now again, I could show them just the upper register, for instance. If I hit common, Okay, now it's going to show me the most common shapes that people use. Okay, and again, you can adjust this as needed for what you're trying to do. Okay, going back to the custom shapes here. I just think it's just amazing how you can do all of this stuff with just this simple idea of these structures. Okay, now again, I can change all these to 6 strings, right? Notes per string. Now, if I want only 3 notes per string, okay, which is usually what we try and do when I try and teach these sorts of things. So I'm going to go back here. Now you'll see as I'm on custom shapes here, okay, there's the shape that I normally play, putting this on 3 notes per string. Okay, and let's say we wanted to teach the next position, which is right there. Okay, that's how I normally visualize it. Okay, well again, I can hold Shift and I can try and combine these various shapes together. So there's just, it's just, again, I don't want to bore you with this, but there's so many different things that you could do. So now let's go on to the next idea. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the next thing. Here's A minor pentatonic, going back to that same idea that we did before. And I want you to see that this is just the first position here. Now I can take off spot and it'll be smaller and I can see it on the whole fretboard there. Okay, but what I've done in this one is I've created different fretboards. That's an option here. So if I go down here to, you see where it says 1 and then 2, if I click on 2, there's my second position. And there's my third position. And there's my fourth position. And there's my fifth position. So I can print this off and give it to a student and say, okay, this is what I want you to work on this week. And then next week we're going to work on the second position. Now if I hold the Shift key again and I select more fretboards, notice how it all puts it in one perspective. So if I had this on, you know, I was magnifying this on the wall or something like that, or on a TV for someone to see, here it is. They can see all of these positions together like this. Okay, there they are. And I can print it like this as well. So it shows all the various positions. Now, I've got a 6th one here. I'm going to show you this. Okay, so the 6th one is empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do A, scale structure. I'm going to do minor pentatonic. There it is. I'm going to do whole fretboard. And now I could show them position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5, and then the whole fretboard. And I could choose all of it and print the whole thing at once. So that's how you set up different pictures of each one. Where if I go back to the first one I was showing you, okay, now I changed it, but this, and I could save it and copy it and create a new one and all that sort of thing. But this one I was just working within the same framework. In this one, what I did was I actually created different positions, okay, different fretboards to work with, and then I can, again, hit Shift and hold them all, and then I can make a printing or a photo or whatever of all of these. Okay, now this is my favorite part, going to the next one here. Here is A minor pentatonic to blues. So I'm trying to teach a student how to play A minor pentatonic. Maybe they've already done that, but I'm trying to show them the expansion into blues. So what I've done is, instead of having different fretboards and such, I've actually created different layers, and this is how you overlap each other. So watch this. This is super cool. So this layer right here is showing the whole fretboard. Let's say I just went to custom shapes again, like I showed you before, and there's my first position. Okay, so that's the A minor pentatonic, but I want to show them the blues notes. So what I did was I created a second layer with the blues note in there. Now if I hold Shift again and I choose 1 and 2, it shows me both of those together. How cool is that? Now I can take that and switch it to all fretboard, and then go back to this one here and change that to all fretboard, and now I've got A minor pentatonic plus the blues notes across the entire fretboard. And you'll notice I've taken the blues note and I've changed the color of it as well. Okay, so that way I can see it better. But then I went one step further. Let's say, I'm going to show you that in just a second here. Okay, let me expand this first. So what I did then was I took this third layer and I created this note, okay, which for us is the raised 6th or major 6th, right, which gives us kind of the Dorian sound. Now again, I could do this note, this third one here, I could go up to the 3 right there, and I could change that to all fretboard, and now it's going to be all across the fretboard. So now I can see my A minor pentatonic, I can see my blues note, and I can see this 6th that I've added in now across the fretboard. Now I don't have to do the whole fretboard, but I'm just showing you. Okay, then what I did was I created another one. I'm holding down Shift now so it keeps all of them and adds yet another note. Boom, there's my 9th. Now it only added it in that one position there. So if I wanted to see it across the whole fretboard, I could change it to that, and there it is. Now I also created another fretboard of just that first position of A minor pentatonic so you could see this as well. So then what I can do is add in the blues note, add in my 6th, add in my 9th, and of course I could change it so you can see it better on the fretboard here, right? How cool is that? And I could do that with each position, each subsequent position. As I keep going, I could keep adding these notes in. Okay? So that's just a small representation of what this app can do when you get comfortable with it. And I like to use these. You'll start seeing this more and more in my videos as I get more comfortable with it. Now, here's my problem. I'm more of a PC. I use a PC when I do my recording. All my stuff is built with a PC. This is Mac only. And so I have to create the photos and stuff, which isn't a big deal. I just bring my laptop into my studio and I'm good to go. But I create everything with my Mac and then I email it to myself, and then I've got it on my Windows computer, and then I can add it into whatever I'm doing. So it is Mac only. The creator of this has told me that there will be an iPad version very, very soon. And then after that, they'll start working on a PC version as well. So I'm just letting you know, if you're a Mac person, I'm telling you, this is so worth trying out. And I'll make sure that the link is below in the description and all that sort of thing. Please really consider it, not because I'm just trying to sell you this product, but because if you are a guitar teacher, this is going to be huge. And if you are just trying to learn how to play, but you're having a hard time visualizing things, this will go above and beyond anything that you would need. Now, I just showed you scales, but there's chords, there's arpeggios, all kinds of different things in here. So anyway, take a look at it and see what you think. If you're a PC person, this isn't really going to do you any good because it isn't available. You'd have to have a Mac to be able to do this. So think about it, give it consideration, and let me know if it works out for you, because I've fallen in love with this app, and again, I'm going to start using it more in my videos. So take care, stay positive. Let me know with comments what you think of this program and how it's helping you, and please share it with anybody else that might be able to use it as well. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you click the subscribe button so you're always notified when I have new videos. And if you need help choosing a guitar course that's perfect for you, make sure that you click the Help Me Choose link in the description.